The United States of America is not a bad place. We do bad things. We send people overseas and do bad stuff over there, and the actions we do are bad, and we're a bad place in certain ways. We got some real freaking boneheads here, and I'd appreciate just a little bit of help in educating the country. If anybody would like to step up and just talk to your neighbors a little more often. People can't really think very well. It's a scary situation, but it's not a better place on the planet, which itself is scary. And you can't be on anybody else's side. If anyone's going to rule the world, it's got to be America. It's got to be this time now. And there's not another option for the good of mankind. Look, I'm going to die, and I don't care. What happens after I die is maybe sad or happy or whatever. As far as I'm concerned, when I die, the universe ends. So I'm saying this to other people who may be interested in seeing the human enterprise continue. Not even seeing it continue, knowing that it may continue. Knowing that we have set up the grounds for continuation of happiness in the future. There's this book. And nowadays it looks arcane, bizarre, outdated. What we must know about communism. Never opened it. Bought it for $1 at a bookstore. Never opened it. Don't care to open it right now. I bought it because I might care to open it someday. But right now I offer it as an historical artifact. What we must know about communism. There are books right now that say what we must know about Islam. Now the only way that we're going to turn them into historical artifacts, like this book, is defeating them the way we defeated communism. By doing things like Reagan did. Reagan said, you know what? You're not someone we need to coexist with. You're not someone we need to do strategic arms limitations with. You're not somebody we need to cooperate with. You're an evil empire, and you should tear down this wall, and you're disgusting, and you're decrepit. That's the kind of situation we need today. We need a Reagan. We need Churchill to stand up to Islam and say, Saudi Arabia, now is your turn. Do you know that you can't have a Bible in Saudi Arabia? Well, let's call that the end of a long video on replacing the videos that incited violence against people who incite violence, which we could call an incitement of self-defense, shall we? So let me just repeat one idea from those videos. We said to the people in Hiroshima and Dresden, and you just go ahead and put some others in there, there's plenty of cities, where we said to them, if you attack our values, our system, our nation, our freedoms, you will die. We said it to a lot of people. We didn't whisper it in their ear. We dropped bombs on their city. We said, you allowed your government to carry out a policy that has brought this on your head. Let's remember that sometimes that has to be done. Let's remember that. And there's an idea that I have been hesitating to think about even, and will now mention, and that's detainment camps and concentration camps, and what were they called? The Topaz relocation camp? What was it called? You know about Topaz? There were 15 or 20 camps, 2 or 3 big ones. Colorado, 2 of them in California, 1 in Utah. I happen to have grown up 15 or 20 miles from a relocation site where Japanese were held in World War II and were let go later. And I just want to say this. Like 9 or 17 or 112 or 270 or 900 or 1012, I think is less than 50 if I remember right, but I don't know anything about the history of it. Less than 50 Japs were killed in the detainment process. It was a bit of an atrocity, but here's the one thing I submit to you. As bad as the detainment camps were in World War II, just wholesale taking Japanese people out of our society who had been born and raised in America. They were citizens of America. And their parents were Japanese, their grandparents were Japanese. And we put them in a camp for 3 or 4 years. We were done with that war in 5 years. 5 years we were finished with that war, and it had become a historical fact. We've been fighting the war on terror for 7 years now. If we would have locked up every Muslim in the nation on September 11th and released them in 2006, after we had fully occupied Saudi Arabia and Iran, we would be done with it. But we've got our heads somewhere